A sophisticated cyber attack targeted critical infrastructure in Tallinn, Estonia on March 16, 2026, disrupting 80% of the capital's public transport networks and affecting financial transactions for 12 hours. Estonian authorities, supported by NATO's Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, attributed the incident to suspected state-sponsored actors, highlighting escalating cyber tensions in the Baltic region. Estonia's swift activation of its Cyber Rapid Response Unit was followed by NATO's condemnation, citing potential Article 5 implications and prompting renewed calls for a clearer international legal framework for cyber warfare. This incident underscores the urgent need to define and deter future hybrid threats. Russian forces launched a major ground offensive in the Zaporizhzhia region of southern Ukraine early on March 14, 2026, advancing 15 kilometers near Robotyne. Deploying over 20,000 troops and 300 armored vehicles, Russia's 58th Combined Arms Army engaged Ukraine's 65th Mechanized Brigade, ending months of static trench warfare following Ukraine's 2023 counteroffensive. Kiev confirmed intense fighting, appealing for expedited Western military aid, while Moscow claimed tactical improvements in the area. The offensive threatens key Ukrainian defensive lines and could signal a significant shift in the war's southern front, testing Ukraine's resilience and its allies' commitment. A series of Russian missile strikes on residential districts of Kharkiv, Ukraine, between March 17 and 19, 2026, killed at least 25 civilians and injured 70 others. The Russian Aerospace Forces attacks damaged 50 apartment blocks and displaced over 5,000 residents in Ukraine's second-largest city, a frequent target since the 2022 invasion. The UN Secretary-General condemned the attacks as egregious violations of international law, urging immediate cessation of hostilities. These escalating attacks worsen Ukraine's already severe humanitarian crisis, straining medical and shelter resources, and underscore the relentless targeting of urban centers. European Union leaders approved a new €65 billion, $70 billion United States dollars, multi-year financial aid package for Ukraine during a summit in Brussels on March 18, 2026. The fund, designed for reconstruction, demining, and military procurement, will be dispersed over 3 years, addressing Ukraine's economy, which has contracted by over 30% since Russia's 2022 invasion. President Volodymyr Zelensky lauded the package as a vital lifeline, while Russian officials denounced it as further Western escalation. This aid aims to bolster Ukraine's long-term economic stability and military capabilities, solidifying its path towards eventual EU integration, and underscores Europe's enduring support for Ukraine's sovereignty. Ukrainian forces successfully recaptured the strategically vital settlement of Velika Novosilka in Donetsk Oblast on March 16, 2026, after 3 weeks of intense fighting. The Ukrainian 72nd Mechanized Brigade secured the village, which controls a key highway intersection and supply route to the southern front, after it had been under Russian occupation since early 2024. Kiev announced the liberation, hailing it as a significant tactical victory, while Moscow remained silent on the development. This recapture could enable further Ukrainian advances towards the Sea of Azov, disrupting Russian logistics and boosting Ukrainian morale, demonstrating the ongoing, fierce struggle for territorial control. NATO announced a significant increase in its forward military presence across its eastern flank, particularly in Poland and Romania, following a summit in Brussels on March 19, 2026. This deployment involves an additional 7,000 troops, including new air defense systems and armored brigades, across 6 member states bordering Russia and Ukraine, prompted by Russia's 2022 invasion. Russia condemned the move as provocative escalation, while Poland's President Andrzej Duda welcomed it as a necessary shield. This expansion aims to strengthen regional security and reassure frontline allies, deepening the strategic divide between NATO and Moscow, and reinforcing NATO's commitment to collective defense. Russia launched a major spring offensive in eastern Ukraine starting March 15, 2026, exploiting global distraction caused by a burgeoning conflict involving Israel and Iran. Over 50,000 Russian troops, supported by 600 tanks, began coordinated assaults along a 150-kilometer front in Donetsk and Luhansk, making initial gains near Avdiivka as Western military aid to Ukraine had slowed amidst domestic political debates. Ukrainian officials urgently appealed for renewed international attention and military support, expressing concern over dwindling ammunition stockpiles. The strategic timing threatens to allow Russia to consolidate territorial gains, potentially shifting the balance of power on the Ukrainian front lines and highlighting the dangerous interplay of global crises. Romania's fragile governing coalition collapsed on March 17, 2026, following a failed no-confidence vote in Parliament in Bucharest. The motion, brought by the USR Plus opposition, garnered 220 votes, falling short of the 233 required, yet prompted Prime Minister Marcel Ciolacu's Liberal Party to withdraw its support from the Social Democratic Party, citing irreconcilable differences over the 2026 budget. Months of internal bickering over fiscal policy and judicial reforms had destabilized the two-party alliance formed in late 2024. President Klaus Iohannis called for urgent consultations to form a new government, warning against snap elections amidst economic uncertainty, underscoring the persistent challenges to stable governance in Romania. Michigan's divided government failed to pass a critical infrastructure spending bill in Lansing on March 20, 2026, highlighting persistent partisan gridlock. The Roads and Bridges Act of 2026, proposing $2 billion for statewide repairs over 5 years, stalled in the Republican-controlled state Senate after Republicans demanded significant tax cuts in exchange for passage from the Democratic-controlled House and Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Governor Whitmer criticized the obstructionist tactics, while Senate Majority Leader Eric Nesbitt stated their priority was fiscal responsibility. This impasse leaves thousands of critical infrastructure projects unfunded and intensifies partisan tensions just 8 months before the November midterm elections, underscoring the profound challenges of bipartisan governance. New York State Assembly member Zohran Mamdani publicly criticized Elon Musk's influence over public discourse on March 18, 2026, via a viral thread on X, formerly Twitter, and a subsequent press conference in Astoria, Queens. Mamdani, a prominent progressive voice, accused Musk of enabling hate speech and undermining democratic dialogue on X, referencing recent policy changes affecting content moderation, and concluded with a pointed remark about Musk's digital fiefdom. The post garnered millions of views and sparked widespread debate, reigniting discussions about accountability for tech platforms and the power wielded by their owners in shaping political narratives. This high-profile confrontation underscores the ongoing tension between free speech absolutism and the need for responsible platform governance.